know how many hours I work a day, Ralph? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I haven't had a day off in 14 years. Holidays are a double shift. Now, let me tell you something. There's an old saying, Ralph. Man works from sun to sun, but woman's work is never done.
Good gosh.
I'll tell you why woman's work is never done, Ralph. Because she's got the toughest boss in this whole world, a husband. Oh, you men kill me. You're all alike. You push us around. You want us to bow and scrape at your feet. All you do is yell and scream and give orders. You men just think that you own this world.
Yeah, but you women get revenge. You marry us.
Should you get married? I'll give you a quick answer that you're not going to like. Yes and no. You can't say both. I want to know if it's worth getting married. Calm down. I also see the crazy dating scene that seems to be getting worse every year. I've seen the divorce rate climbing, and it looks like it's not going to stop. I get it. You're worried. You're scared. You don't know if it's worth the effort, that it could possibly come crumbling down in an instant. But I still stand by my answer. Yes and no. But I am going to elaborate. But before I begin, you're going to hear me say man and woman, husband and wife. Because this is what I know. I believe the same can be applied to any type of couple out there. I'm talking about the LGBTQ plus community. This may come from a place of ignorance, but in my experience, what I've seen, there's always one person more feminine than the other, one more masculine than the other. If you relate to one side more than the other, then you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Even with straight couples, roles can be reversed. Take, for instance, me talking like crazy. Usually women don't know when to shut the fuck up and men don't communicate. In my case, in our relationship, I'm the one that wants to talk and my wife doesn't want to talk. So when I talk about certain roles and what certain people do, you're going to find something to relate to. So let's start with the no. Why I think it's not worth it. Marriage is just a process of finding out what kind of person your spouse would have preferred. I absolutely love my wife like crazy. I love her. But if anything were to ever happen where we weren't together anymore, there is no fucking way I can do the whole marriage thing again. So many people really don't understand what it takes to have a successful marriage. It's not easy. I'm absolutely over the top in love. When I kiss my wife, it feels like we're teenagers making out. The passion is still there. I've been with my wife for 18 years, and we've been married for 15 years. But I will tell you, we have only felt this great for the last 6 or 7 years. The majority of the time, it feels like it does in the movies. It feels almost too good to be true. We have annoyed many shitty couples with our love and because of the way we talk to each other. People like to believe the fairy tale fantasy that just because you love each other, everything is going to work out perfectly. I'm telling you, love is not enough to make a marriage work. It takes a lot of patience. It takes understanding each other, being compassionate to each other, always taking the other person into consideration. You have to be willing to forgive no matter how hurt you might feel when you have a bullshit argument. You have to be selfless. You grow up always having your parents tell you what to do. You have other grown-ups in your life that always had told you what to do when you were young. You finally get older thinking you're free, but in order to maintain a job and a place to live, you have to follow someone else's rules. You fall in love and now you have to be told what to do by someone around your age. You do it all because you are in love. Every decision I make, I have to think about how it's going to affect my wife. That's the consideration part. If you're not willing to do that, marriage is not for you. That is one of the reasons why I say marriage is not worth it. My wife knows me better than anyone else in this chaotic planet, and it is the same the other way around. But there are times that I look at her after she does or say something that hurts me that makes me think, man, she doesn't know me at all. But we work hard to make it by cutting out all the bullshit arguments as much as we can, by learning how to react when either one of us or both of us slip up. So after all that time and effort that we both put into making this marriage badass, how in the world am I supposed to go through all that stuff with another person? Hell to the fuck no. I'd rather be single and die alone. Steven, stop being around the bush and just give it to me straight. What is the worst things about being married? Fine, here it is. First thing is that you are going to argue argue, and argue all the time. Even if you, in 1 month, you've argued 2 times, it's going to feel like you argued every day. And because you feel comfortable with your partner, you're going to say and do the dumbest things to your partner that you would never do or say to someone you work with or a parent. You know that money that you worked hard for? It's not yours anymore. You have to ask for permission to spend your money on things. You can't just go splurging anymore. You can't just buy anything you want. That console you want? Nope. You have to spend it on your partner and kids. You want that new purse? Nope. The water heater is fucked up or you need a new fridge. You feel like you would do better living in another state? No. Your partner is too close to his or her family and is not going to want to move anywhere else. You have to stay broke. There is a high possibility that you're going to lose the spark. Another frustrating part of marriage is wanting different things that are equally important to each person. It could be like the example I just gave, where you live, having a pet, what car do you drive, where you're going to go vacation. Your dream is to visit Paris, but your partner said no. They have been there before, and you have to take their word that it's a shit place. So every now and then, there are going to be something that you really want to do, but your partner is against it. So you have to give up trying and smile. You won't have any real freedom. You will have zero alone time. Your partner will always be there. There will always be things that you're not going to be able to do apart. Money will always be an issue, especially if you have joint accounts. Whether you're poor or rich, money will always be an issue. Say goodbye to your friends. You won't be seeing them as often. You enjoy getting coffee and hanging out with your girlfriends? Nope, because you don't like it when he goes out with his friends and don't want to seem hypocritical. So none of you are going to go out as often as you would like. That dream career you need to work hard on? Bye-bye. There's a high possibility that your partner is not going to support you like you think they would. Along with that spark that went away, say bye to the sex drive. As soon as you say I do, the sex stops. Get ready to be walked out on all the time or ignored after almost every argument because that's your punishment. Instead of opening up or confronting whatever issues y'all have, that's how your partner gets revenge. There's always going to be attitudes. Women hormones and men hormones can get fucking ridiculous. And your partner will change. He or she used to be laid back and free-spirited. Now they're not. Expect them to be the opposite. Think about y'all having children. Children will always be in a damn way. There is always something with them. And you will more than likely get even more at each other's throats because it's easier to do that than to talk things out. Marriage is immensely stressful. You're going to get gray hairs sooner than you think. You will probably have worse health problems because of that added stress. I hope you're satisfied with this list of reasons why marriage sucks. But listen, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from getting married. I'm just saying that you have to make sure that you understand everything that goes into an actual marriage. I see a lot of young couples today and they get caught up with the wedding. They need the best photos so that they can post it on social media. They don't think about everything that comes after the wedding. They don't have that hard conversations and arguments that you had to go through before getting married. On social media, you get the highlight reel. You do not know what the hell's going on behind closed doors. Divorce rates are so high right now because people don't want to put in the work. All of those problems that I mentioned can easily be worked on so that it won't be a problem anymore. But it requires you both to work hard to prevent those problems from ever happening again. When it comes to the wedding, I believe that you should put the money elsewhere. Don't have the big wedding just to feed people you're not going to have time to hang out with there. And people that you barely talk to outside of your home, ever. Oh, we need to invite Uncle Joe because, no, you rarely talk to Uncle Joe. Go to the courts to get married or find a small wedding ceremony that you could book online. There are many companies out there that can set up a beach theme or something very small and affordable, and only invite the closest people that you deal with more times than anybody else. And usually that's less than 20 people. Then use that money that would have gone to a wedding reception and go on a badass 10 to 14 day honeymoon. Trust me, that is what you want to spend your money on instead of a ceremony with fake family and friends. I am a believer that the more money you spend on a wedding, the more likely it would fail. I see it all the time. The only people that I've seen that's still together are boomers and Gen X people because they live in a world where no matter how miserable you are, no matter how unhappy you are, you have to stick it out. That's just the way it is. You have to stick it out till death do you part. So you'll see them miserable to their old age. Now, one of the killers of marriage is toxic men and women. I don't care if I continue triggering them. Because of our She's Toxic episode, part 1 and 2, many toxic bitches keep threatening a couple of our hosts. They also do their best to warn people that I have casted to not work for me because they said to them, I'm toxic to women. I've pissed off a lot of toxic women with that episode. But here I go again. You got a lot of toxic weak men and women that make marriage seem like it's not worth it. They want to bash masculinity, claiming that it's toxic. I truly believe that the absence of it is what makes it bad because weak men are the ones who are abusive and malicious. Strong men are protective and loving. So many toxic women want a man who is already successful and making 6 digits and don't want to do shit. But a strong wife will be part of her husband's struggle and do whatever it takes to both be successful, to survive all of the chaos that life brings. They're ready to cheer with their partner when they succeed together. A strong wife will help build the empire, not bring it down. These toxic women like to run around and say, the day that my man asked me to pay half the rent or mortgage is the day that I pack my bags. And I'm like, where the fuck are you gonna go? You can't even pay half the damn rent. If pussy is all that they're offering, then pussy is all that these toxic men will want. That's why they keep having to deal with dumb, weak-ass fuckboys. It seems like being raised right sucks because not many women wants a good guy anymore. Many of these toxic women will push away someone who's a gentleman to them. Those men get too nice and those women are like, oh, what a simp, get away from me. But if a guy crosses their path and he got money and is a fucking asshole, these women are ready to get in that sports car faster than you could say masks do nothing to stop COVID. They start weighing the options, right? The nice guy with the decent car and an okay job, but will take care of me and be loyal, or the cheater, ultra asshole with the Lambo. They will pick the asshole with money. That piece of shit can tell her that he fucked her best friend and she will still chase after him. Who's simping now? Real good men don't care for the big lips and the skimpy outfits. I mean, we will definitely gawk and stare at it because all women are absolutely beautiful. And something like that is definitely shining a spotlight on our favorite features. But the reality is that women do all that stuff for themselves. Men really don't care about that shit. I'm serious. Men would rather have their women change their damn attitude than their hair color or even their nails. Ask a married woman how weird it is that when their husbands say how beautiful and sexy they are, and all they're wearing is pajamas, no makeup, frizzy bed hair, but they just roll their eyes thinking that that he just wants to fuck. That's why he's just saying that. I mean, we're always ready to fuck if you give the green light. I'm a boob guy. Show me some tits, any size or shape, and I can have a broken leg needing to go to the hospital and I'll be up for a quickie. Just the way we are. I know it's gross, but what are you going to do besides complain on social media? After listening to my reasons about why you shouldn't get married, and I scared you off that easily, don't get married. You're scared? Don't get married. If you don't want more responsibilities, if you want to have more time to focus on work or interests, guilt-free, don't get married. If you've always been a selfish little bitch, don't get married. If you think that marriage is just a stupid piece of paper, don't get married. If you don't want to be with one person forever and want to spend your years dating multiple people, fucking as much as you want, don't get married. If you fear that marriage would make you lose yourself because you're worried that your partner will change, don't get married. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to get married. I know a few people who are single and will probably never get married. And they do their best to live a great life. There's nothing wrong with not getting married. Society makes you feel like that's what you have to do. But you don't have to. Being single is perfectly okay. Now let's talk about the reasons why I think you should get married. The yes part. First, let me say, I am a big believer that people who are the happiest in their relationship almost never post about it on social media. These are the people you want to ask for advice. These are the people that will be real with you and not bullshit you into an unrealistic fantasy. Usually the couples that are constantly posting about each other on social media stories or constantly making the posts that show over the top celebration or posting how perfect the other one is are couples that when you meet them in the real world, you see a ton of red flags. I know I talk about it all the time, but this is a podcast where I try to give you advice. You've heard me talk great about my marriage, but you've also heard me talk about it in a way that can possibly get me into trouble. So that's when I'm glad that my wife doesn't listen to this podcast. Anyways, I think that the couple that are real are more concerned about making the other person happy rather than projecting an image of happiness on social media. I love being married to my wife. There is nothing quite like being married to the perfect person. I love my wife above and beyond. She is someone who sees good in me and also sees all the bad in me, and at the end of the day still wants to be with me. And I think that's absolutely amazing. We love each other to the core of our souls. The good, the bad, and everything in between. She is all mine. I chose her. Toxic feminists don't even like those words. But I will say it again. She is all mine. I chose her. I will always continue to choose her. She is my strength. She is my weakness. She is my everything. She is the love of my life. And I'm happy to say that she is mine forever. I would rather go through bad times with her than good times with anyone else. Because no one could ever be at her level. When I say I love you more to her, she knows that I don't mean that I love her more than she loves me. She knows and understands that I love her more than all the messed up days that's coming in the future. I love her more than any detour that try and come between us. So many guys think that hooking up with as many women as much as possible is how you live life. That living a life like that is flex. Nope, flex is having a woman that no one else can have. Just as there are many reasons why marriage sucks, there are a lot of reasons why it's great. And here's some of the reasons. And this is only great when you both have done the work, when you've cut the bullshit, when you stop playing games, when you've mastered communication, when you both start respecting each other, when you both learn to be considerate. The first reason why marriage is great to me is having someone there when you are broken or sick. Having someone there to take care of you when you're sick as hell or something is hurting feels great. I love it when you could say things without fear that you're coming on too strong. You remember when you started dating someone? You have to be careful that you don't say the wrong things, but when you're married, you don't have to worry about that. Once you have a great trust between you and respect, you'll be able to say and talk about anything without any fear. Another thing that I love is having an awesome partner to do stuff with. Whether it's for fun, like going to a theme park, going to a bar, going to the beach, or if it's something serious like grocery shopping or repainting a room. I love having a partner in crime. This is what I love about my wife. If she murdered someone, I will help hide the body. And she would do the same for me. When people fuck us over like they've done in the past, or disrespects us or our home, you will no longer mean shit to both of us. We are partners that don't give a fuck. I love that I have someone to cheer me on. Most of you, especially with Boomer or Gen X parents, will not get that feeling from them. You will also not get it from your siblings or extended family. What's awesome is having a spouse that cares will always be your number one fan. I love this one. Telepathy. It's fucking amazing. I could give my wife a look and she could do the same, and we just know. Whether it's we don't want to cook tonight, so let's go out to get some Chick-fil-A, or we're at an event or a party and we both want to get the fuck out of there, we have that look. Or when we just look at each other and we're like, fuck these kids. And we're really good at it. Actually, our song is When You Say Nothing at All. Of course, there's sex, which is great. When you have been married for a while, you start exploring and trying new things, and some of the stuff that you're going to learn, you're going to wish that you've done that since the beginning. Ladies, when you're married, you don't have to dress up to get sex. You can look like hell wearing a stained shirt or have holes on it, have fucked up hair, no makeup. If you want to do the bam bam boogie, you will make it happen, and your partner will still look at you as if you were a Victoria's Secret model. I love the cuddles. Every morning I get up at 5:30 to 6 in the morning and my wife is already gone. And that's when I get up to answer work emails. But almost every weekend morning, we just stay in bed and just cuddle while we plan out our day. Many times we even fall right back asleep. It's one of my favorite parts of the weekend. Another good reason I like is creating new traditions. We have quite a few that is just exclusive to us. It is something fun to look forward to. It could start when it's just the two of you and still keep it going when you both have kids and beyond. How about food? When we go to a restaurant, we get to try 2 different meals all the time. Rarely she wants to get her own thing, but the majority of the time we split. And one of the last reasons I'm going to mention, and it's a little controversial to say, but I believe that children born to married parents can have a significantly positive impact on a children's present and future well-being. Children are less likely to experience social, academic, and emotional problems. My boys will not be simps and weak men because of the marriage we have. There are a lot more reasons to not get married. There are a lot more reasons to get married. And I could be here for hours trying to talk about every single thing. These are just the top things based on my experience and research. Let's wrap this segment up. Listeners, if you work really hard on making the marriage super badass, you will live an amazing life with an incredible partner. What is crazy to me is that we live in a world that if you go against society norms like not smoking, not drinking, not doing drugs, not fucking anything that moves, not cheating, or deciding to get married, you become an outcast. You become a rebel in society's eyes. You become the enemy. They are ready to tear you up on social media, especially on Twitter, just for talking about anything that is against the so-called norm. I think it's crazy. I think it's okay to ask if marriage is worth it. Marriage is not for everyone. But if you're a man who knows how to love a woman, if you're a woman that knows how to respect a man, then marriage is far from scary. Some of you are really struggling whether or not you should get married. You want someone to care about you as much as you care for them because you're just too tired of always being the one who cares more. You want to have the right person that you don't have to do anything to keep them interested other than you being you. To see if the marriage will work, you need to wait 3 to 4 years of being together pre-marriage. This way you can see each other at the highest, the lowest, the saddest, the happiest, before making the decision of spending the rest of your lives together. If you are lucky enough to find someone who is a hopeless romantic with the freaky side, do your best to keep that person. That person will stand next to you and also fight for you. You will always be comfortable with him or her. They're ready for future adventures, ready to go through rough storms, figuratively and literally. When you find that person, never let go, because someone like that, it's worth it all. Normalize letting each other have an escape in your own home. If he wants to play video games, let him. If she wants to binge watch Forensic Files, let her. Those are the times where you both do your own thing. Be happy. Social media can't give you the right answer. Only you can decide whether marriage is right for you and your partner. One of the most important things is to have a partner who is perfectly compatible with you, where it doesn't feel like you're trying to make it work. Don't try to make a marriage work with a partner that isn't right for you. We all want the happily ever after fantasy. And I'll say it again, and you have to keep this in mind. Marriage is hard work, but no matter how hard it seems at times, you must find ways to make it badass. You have to understand where the problems are coming from and talk it out. As long as you work at things together, making sure that that relationship won't fall apart, and when you're older, you'll realize that all that work was worth it all. You will have the greatest time ever. So to answer your question, should you get married? Absolutely yes. If you have the heart to do what needs to be done to make it work, and ignoring all of the fake, weak, mindless robots that try to prove you wrong. And I'm going to leave you with a quote that I saw at Hobby Lobby, or what my wife likes to call that store, "Ho baby, low baby." If at first you don't succeed, try doing it the way your wife told you.